Hello, my name is Amy and I am from England, and I will tell you along with my friend Johnny, he is Australian, about pop culture, specifically music in 1957 to 1967, and how it impacted our countries
and their cultures. We will also talk about what was happening in this time, and how the music reflected this.
Pop culture is cultural activities or commercial products reflecting, suited to, or aimed at the general tastes of masses of people. This is according to dictionary.com. So first we better give you some background information. So during the period of 1957 to 1967 many global events occurred, changing the face of society. At this point in time Australia was not an independent nation, and it still had strong ties with both the United Kingdom and the United States of America.
Due to this, Bond culture was shared throughout these countries, influencing the country's own pop culture.
During World War II, Australia formed an alliance with the USA, and as a result of this, Australians then had to perform duties fighting in the Vietnam War, and approximately 47,000 men and women were stationed. As a result of this war many teenagers rebelled, knowing the consequences of participating, and instead encouraging peace, equality and friendship instead of war and violence. This was the blossoming age for the hippies.
The hippie movement protested against the war in Vietnam, which started in the early 1960s. Thousands of young men refused to join the army. As the 60s continued, Britain continually lost counters from her empire as they gained independence. A large change which occurred in 1954, the rationing ended in the United Kingdom.
As a result of this, taxes were raised, allowing for families to have higher income, a higher disposable incomes, and consumerism took off. This is one of the main contributions in the spread of pop culture.
Also in Australia, this was the time where Aboriginal rights were being heavily debated, and that which defines an Australian in question. Aboriginal people were eventually given the right to be citizenship and rights to vote and the like.
Now we will talk about how the music reflects the culture and values of the time. This decade was one of growth, rebellion and development, as the baby boom kids were becoming teenagers and redefining what that term meant. Another vital change was in how teenagers were viewed. Up until the 50s teenagers were just children and were treated as such, but this all changed in this decade, changed that, where teenagers became an important section of society, though viewed as corrupt, bratish and wild.
So let's start with Australia's beliefs at the time. Australians have always been proud of the mateship and loyalty, but the multicultural society that Australia is so proud of today did not exist in 1957 to 1967. It was a time where Australians were questioning their identity and what it meant to be a teen. The laid-back feel of most Australian music, but lyrics with great value on mateship and relaxation, such as A Pub with No Beer, really captured the outward expression of Australians in this era.
In the United Kingdom, throughout this era, the hippie movement was taking place. Through much of the music in this time, such as the Beatles. It is general belief that during this era many people were doing drugs and resisting war and the paths their parents took. This is clearly expressed through pop culture.
The impact of pop culture on these countries was huge.
The music in the years 1957 to 1967 impacted upon both the pop culture of the time and of today. Bands that were considered fads such as the Beatles, Elvis, the Kinks and The Who all helped pave the path for future genres of music, making segues into music videos and TV.
The effects are also emotional. The music that the Beatles played, or songs like My Generation by The Who, all helped teenagers to form this new identity of nonconformity, which was crucial to the evolution of pop culture.